has come forward and said that they will begin the impeachment trial after Biden's inauguration. His justification for that is they want to give Biden the opportunity to begin his presidency before they go forward. As we talked about yesterday, there are pros and cons to starting the trial like today versus after Biden becomes president. And so what I assume is that him and Nancy Pelosi had a private conversation where they both determined when the House should, how the House should have voted. And then he probably encouraged those 10 Republicans, congressmen to vote their conscience and vote for impeachment. And now it's just a matter of seeing how the trial actually goes when the Senate goes forward. But we probably won't have a real update in terms of impeachment for a while. And as always, we'll continue to talk about those types of progressions in class. Just so you guys also know, next week RIAs, but I am also working with a couple members of the leadership team to set up an inauguration viewing. So we will have the time of the inauguration blocked out, so there won't be any tests during that time. So that way we can watch the inauguration as a community. Lady Gaga and Jennifer Lopez are performing. So there's a selling point. Besides, history being made. That too. So just as a heads up, you guys, we are creating that opportunity so that you will be able to watch and experience that inauguration. So this might be the first one that you guys really remember, because 2016, I think we all blocked that out. I didn't watch. Okay, that should have been enough time for us to get into the Nearpod. Let me check to see how many I have in there. I have 16. I should have 17. So almost everybody is in there. So just make sure that you have logged yourself in. I'm going to copy and paste the link one more time into the chat. And then we will get started. Okay, as always, make sure your camera is on, your microphone is off. You keep the chat on task. Be prepared for warm and cold call, unmute and respond effectively. And the Google Classroom, and for Google Classroom, your exit ticket is due at the end of class. We're now going to do a quick review of the foundational documents before the IA next week. So you're gonna have 9 minutes. No, you're gonna have 3 minutes to match the 9 descriptions, the descriptions of 9 foundational documents with those underneath. So be prepared to share out. We'll review at the very end. You have 3 minutes to match the correct foundational document with the description. Go ahead and get started. 3 minutes. Page 1 of the classwork. $90 more seconds to complete the do now. 30 more seconds before we review. Okay, and that is time. Before I show you the answer key for the do now, just a quick reminder, thank you guys so much for having cameras on and your faces in frame. Just make sure if for any reason you need to leave the frame or anything like that, that you're chatting Miss Trudeau, so that way she can, she's aware so she doesn't change your participation score. And just make sure you're also keeping an eye out from chats from her in case she needs you to reframe anything for participation. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and show you guys my answer key, which is not this one. Let's just give it a second. There we go. Okay, and on the screen, you guys should see the answer key. And I wrote 51 and 70 instead of the letters. 51 is F and 70 is G. So go ahead and take 30 seconds to compare your answers, make any corrections. This is also a really good study tool for the IA. Oh no, you guys do have numbers. I'm so sorry. Okay, so A is the Declaration of Independence. H is Federalist 78. I is the letter from Birmingham jail. I'm sorry, I didn't configure that correctly. E is Brutus #1. C is the Constitution of the United States or the Bill of Rights. That one is 51, which is supposed to be F. 70 is the one in the bottom left-hand corner, which was G, or that equivalent. The bottom middle is Federalist 10, and the very last one is the Articles of Confederation. I'm sorry about that, you guys. And if you can just chat me a 100 when you are all good to go with the answer key. Great, thank you, Isis, Ariana, Janiqua. Thank you, Jade. Thank you, Manny. Yamani. The third one in the second row is Federalist 51, which is letter F, which is number 6. I know what order letters and numbers go in. Okay, we should be good to go. So now I'm going to be showing you guys a clip from a speech written by Lyndon B. Johnson when he spoke to the graduates at Howard University. On page 2, you have a place to stop and jot. While you're watching the video clips, I want you to take notes and answer these 2 questions. What is Johnson's message when he describes starting the line of the race? And why does Johnson make the distinction between equality as a theory and equality as a fact or result? Make sure I have my timestamps, 7:30. Okay. So I have the screen up here. Let me make sure I have my computer sound and 7:30. Okay. So we're gonna watch about a 3-minute clip. Chat me if you have any questions. Okay, and we'll go ahead and get started. Nizaya, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear it?
The Voting Rights Bill will be the latest and among the most important in a long series of victories. But this victory, as Winston Churchill said of another triumph for freedom, is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning. That beginning is freedom. And the barriers to that freedom are tumbling down. Freedom is the right to share fully and equally in American society, to vote, to hold a job, to enter a public place, to go to school. It is the right to be treated in every part of our national life as a person equal in dignity and promise to all others. But freedom is not enough. You do not wipe away the scars of centuries by saying now, you are free to go where you want and do as you desire and choose the leaders you please. You do not take a person who for years has been hobbled by chains and liberate him, bringing up to the starting line of a race, and then say, you are free to compete with all the others, and still justly believe that you have been completely fair. Thus, it is not enough just to open the gates of opportunity. All our citizens must have the ability to walk through those gates. And this is the next and the more profound stage of the battle for civil rights. We seek not just freedom, but opportunity. We seek not just legal equity, but human ability. Not just equality as a right and a theory, but equality as a fact and equality as a result.
That's where we're going to pause it. Go ahead and take 30 seconds to finish up your notes. What does Johnson mean when he makes the distinction between equality as a theory and equality as a result? I'll take one or two hands. What does Johnson mean by that? All right, go ahead, Nyasha.
It means that there's a difference between saying you want equality, saying that America is free, and saying that like you want equality and stuff like that, than actually having it. It actually existed.
Great, and go ahead and build on that, Erica.
I agree, because in theory we are all equal, but in practice minorities are treated inferiorly to white people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that's why he uses that metaphor of like the starting of a race. But if one of those people had been cobbled by chains for the last century, they are not going to be able to perform in that race as the same as the person that was not. So we are going to be looking at affirmative action today. And affirmative action is a policy whose goal is to bring about more equal representation within educational or work situations. So how do we make sure that everybody is given an equal opportunity to participate in a job or in a school or something along those natures. So before we get started, I just want to do a quick definition clarification. So today's main question is going to be around, is affirmative action colorblind? And so I want to make sure that we're on the same page of what colorblind means. Colorblind, according to Webster's dictionary, is you're unable to distinguish colors and you are not influenced by racial prejudice. And what this means is that, like, and what you typically hear from somebody is like, I don't even see race. So rather than somebody critically considering what their relationship with race is, they just say, I think everybody's equal, and they don't really interrogate within themselves any internalized prejudices that they might have. And so today, while we are looking at affirmative action and whether or not it's colorblind, first, you guys are going to have some background information on some of the more notable Supreme Court cases about affirmative action. And then you guys are going to rule on your own cases. And we're going to decide how much your answers mirror with the Supreme Court. So first, we're going to start with document 1, which starts on page 3. You're going to have 6 minutes to read document 1 and answer the questions, are affirmative action rulings colorblind? And then we'll come back together to discuss, and then we will look at 2 Supreme Court examples. You have 6 minutes to do this background reading and analyzing, and then we'll come back together. 6 minutes on the clock. Chat me if you have any questions. Go ahead and get started. Five more minutes on document 1. Three more minutes. I'm going to pause this very quickly. I'm now going to open up a Nearpod open response. So if you've already started typing in your document, you can copy and paste it. If not, you can start typing directly into the Nearpod. You have 3 minutes. Ow, Harley, stop. Sorry. You have 3 minutes to respond to the question, are affirmative action rulings colorblind, in the Nearpod. At the end of 3 minutes, we'll come back together to discuss your responses. So 3 minutes in the Nearpod to respond to the question. Go ahead and get started. Well, in 2, 1. You have 1 more minute to respond into the Nearpod. Okay, that is time. Make sure you get your answer submitted if it hasn't been submitted already. Okay. Can I hear from Emmanuel and then Naziah? So Emmanuel, then Naziah.
I said that they're not colorblind because in the document there's actually a quote, and it's by Dr. Petersdorf or something like that, and it says the Supreme Court decision actually encouraged affirmative action goals by allowing the use of race and other determinant I can't say that word in academic achievement as acceptable admissions criteria, which is basically saying well, it's not anything based on merit, which is also something that's said at the end of the document. And yeah, so clearly they're not colorblind. It's suggesting the exact opposite.
I disagree because in the document one, they said that the court decided that Mr. Bake deserved to be admitted, but at the same time, it upheld the use of race as a factor of admission policy. Then further down said the Supreme Court decision actually encouraged affirmative action goals by allowing the use of race and other determinants in academic achievement. So they were colorblind because if they're allowing them to determine if they can be admitted into a school because of their race, then they're not like, seeing it, I guess.
Go ahead and jump in. Who agrees with Naziah? Who agrees with Manny? Who's somewhere in the middle? Isis, go ahead.
I would say I agree with Manuel that they're not. Well, wait, that they're not colorblind because let's see. I don't know if anybody said this already. This quote in document one is that critics of affirmative action. Well, hold on. Yeah. No, let's go up. I think they already read this one where it says by allowing the use of race and other things. So if they're allowing people to like get their race and add that as a decision-making process, then obviously they're not colorblind because they were, race wouldn't matter and they wouldn't make that a decision to get into college.
Okay, jump in Erica and then Nyasha.
I agree with what Emmanuel and Isis said. Can you please define what affirmative action is?
Affirmative action is when you try to match a certain quota. So let's say you're at a corporation that is in an area that, when you look at the demographics, that is 40% white, 30% African American, and then 30% Hispanic American. You would want to match all of those. So that means when you look at your job, that like 40% of those people should be white, 30% of those people should be African American, and 30% of those people should be Hispanic. Like you want the demographics of whatever workplace. So it's kind of like, that's why jobs become less diverse the further up you go, because there's more priority given to typically white cis males. Does that make sense, Erica? And go ahead and jump in, Nyasha.
I think I agree with Manny and Isis. And Erica. I think that what happened was they tried to make it less obvious that they weren't colorblind because like the one that everybody kept giving, the affirmative action goes by line, the basis of race and everything. So they were obvious that they wanted it to be based on race. And then it ends by saying, in brief, he argued that preferences should be given to students who have overcome economic handicaps, but such decisions should not be made strictly on the basis of race. And so that means that they're basically focusing on low income areas and how like people overcame their like poverty or whatever. And a lot of people in poverty in society is like people of color. So it's still based on race and they're still not colorblind, but they're hiding the fact that they see color.
Interesting. So now that we've started tackling this idea of affirmative action, you guys are going to play the role of a Supreme Court justice. And remember, you guys are qualified because you know all of the freedoms in the First Amendment. So you have 7 minutes to read these 2 Supreme Court cases and determine how you would rule. And remember, who would you rule in favor of? So you're gonna have 7 minutes to rule on these 2 court cases, and then we're gonna come back and discuss them one at a time. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to chat them out. You have a spot in your classwork packet starting on page 4 where you can read about the Supreme Court case and then rule underneath, and then we'll share all of our opinions on a collab board. So you have 7 minutes to read about these 2 court cases, and then we'll come back together. 7 minutes, go ahead and get started. Quick clarification, in Gratz versus Bollinger, the first one, Bollinger refers to the school. So that's like the representative of University of Michigan that was getting sued. So Gratz are the students, Bollinger is the school. Three and a half minutes, you should be ruling on parents involved in community schools versus Seattle School District number 1. So you should be on that second court case.
Ms. Wall, you got my message?
Yes, I just saw it.
Okay.
2 more minutes to finish up, and then we'll come back together to discuss our rulings. Take the next 10 seconds to finish up. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First, in the collab board, I want to hear about Gratz versus Bollinger first. How did you rule? Who did you rule in favor of? You can copy and paste your response or just chat who you would have decided with. We will be going over the decisions that were made by the Supreme Court. Just want to hear what you guys would say first. Okay, I got one. Remember, participation in the collab boards is part of your credit. Okay, got 4, 5, 5 for Gratz. Dwayne, you can't rule in favor of both. That's not how the Supreme Court works. Okay, it looks like we are almost universally on the side of Gratz. Yep, most of us are there. Madison, why would you rule in favor of Gratz?
Say no, I'm just kidding. I said I would rule in favor of Gratz because I get they were trying to help the minorities, but I feel like, you could be a minority but still not be qualified, and this decision should not be solely on race. There should be other factors, because what if that student had bad grades or something? I feel like it's unfair for people that have worked hard.
Mm-hmm. And specifically the use of that equal protection clause. In Gratz versus Bollinger, they ruled 6-3 in favor of Gratz. So almost all of us were on the side of the Supreme Court majority. Now it's time for the court case that's a little more like this. So what about parents involved in community schools versus Seattle School District number 1? Who did you rule in favor of? Just gonna let you guys know, the Supreme Court in this one ruled 5-4. So it was close. Okay, I have 2 responses. Three. Again, you're just telling me the parents or the school. Who are you ruling in favor of? Okay, it's starting to be a little more people in favor of the school. Oh. Okay. Why would they rule in favor of the parents in this one, Isis? Why did you pick the parents?
I chose the parents because even though I understand like where the school was coming from when they wanted to like balance out the races or whatever, but at the same time, you can't use race as a factor to just throw away someone's whole application to because they fit the race that you have in mind.
Isis's mic was a little uncooperative in that part. Somebody else that voted in favor of the parents, if you guys want to jump in and build on Isis's argument, why would they rule in favor of the parents potentially? Ariana, thanks for volunteering.
I said they probably ruled in favor of the parents because of say. Oh yeah, because they didn't want like race to be like a part of the whole tiebreaker thingy. They only admit students on the percentages of the two races instead of like academic qualities.
Awesome. Yes, in this court case, 5-4, they ruled in favor of the parents. So this one, what makes this court case different? Why was this one a much tighter decision than Gratz versus Bollinger? Why do you think they had a harder time making this decision? I'll take a hand. Nyasha, go for it.
Because it's understandable to like want diversity in like a school, but in this case they was using like the student as like a tiebreaker. Like they use like the student to decide whether they want like more white kids or more like people of color, and it just seemed like they didn't see the student anymore, like the student's need for a good education, but just seeing them as like, I guess like a chess piece. Like, do you want more black pieces or white pieces on the board?
That's a really interesting that's an interesting comparison. Because of the time, we're going to go ahead and move to the exit ticket. I'm really sorry. After 4 hours on Zoom yesterday, my brain is fried. Okay, we are going to go ahead and transition to the exit ticket, which is only 3 multiple choice questions. You're welcome, Madison. Go ahead and get started on that exit ticket. Once you have completed the exit ticket and submitted it and have your classwork packet turned in, you are free to go. Please chat me if you have any questions. And if not, please make sure if you are pulled for AP Government tutorial, please make sure you come tomorrow. I have only gotten 2 AP Government students during tutorial this entire time I've been doing tutorial for AP Gov. So please make sure that you are coming and you're using those resources so you can have as high of a grade as possible before the IA. Okay, I will stop talking now. Once you turn in the exit ticket, class packet, you're good to go. Pisa, you are free to go. Malachi, you're free to go. Ariana, you're free to go. Well done. Erica, once I get your class packet, you're free to go. Erica, you can send me a reminder about the do now and I can get that sent to you, okay? Just send me an email, otherwise I'll forget. I'm sorry, Malachi, I'm watching your live results. It's only funny because like your face. Naisha, once you turn in your class packet, you're good to go. Jamal, you're free to go. Malachi, you're good to go. Janiqua, when I get your class packet, you're good to go. Naziah, Kamisha, once I get your class packets, you guys are good to go. Bye, Janiqua. Have a great day. Emmanuel, you're free to go. Dwayne, when I get your class packet, you're free to go. Whoa. Janiyah, Ziera, Lauren, Kezia, when I get your guys' class packets, you guys are free to go.
Got mine.
Yeah, Dwayne, I said when you turn in your class packet, you're good to go. Or maybe you got kicked out again. Yes, Emmanuel, you can redo it if you want. Isis, you're free to go. Lauren, I'm just looking at the exit ticket. You can just turn in the class packet. You don't need to worry about it. Like, don't worry about going back into the class packet.
All right.
I got it right. I got all three right. I'm so happy. Yeah.
Yes, you did, man. Good job.
Can I redo my ticket?
Manny, make sure you come to class to tutorial tomorrow so we can get your grade up, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Lauren, what was your question?
I just want to redo my exit ticket.
Yeah, you can redo your exit ticket. Adarius, are you working on your exit ticket too? Like you're finishing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm coming to show you tomorrow.
Sorry, what was the last part?
I was saying I was coming to tutorial tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and tomorrow we're just gonna work on makeup work. So like we're meeting from tutorials from 8 to 8:40. So my goal is just gonna have you to get two exit tickets turned in during that time. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just waiting on this exit ticket and then you're good to go.